Welcome to our channel. Here we provide you with wonderful movie recaps and previews with sweetable plots and twists in addition with movie breakdowns or Easter eggs. Glad you are here. Enjoy. Today we will be diving into a movie called Captain America: The First Avenger. But before we start, do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. In the present day, researchers in the Arctic Circle uncover the buried wreckage of a large, wing-shaped aircraft. While investigating the aircraft's interior, two of the researchers discover a frozen, circular object with a red, white, and blue motif. In March 1942, Hydra forces led by Johann Schmidt invade a stone church in Tonsberg, Norway, seeking a mysterious cosmic artifact known as the Tesseract, which possesses untold powers. Upon discovering the true Tesseract, Schmidt has the church keeper who guarded it killed, along with everyone else in the village. Steve Rogers speaks to Bucky Barnes to Stark Expo. In 1943, Steve Rogers is once again rejected from military duty on the battlefields of World War II, despite making multiple attempts at different enlistment offices due to his frail physical appearance and numerous health issues. While attending Stark Expo with Bucky Barnes, Rogers attempts to enlist again. After overhearing Rogers' conversation with Barnes about wanting to help in the war, Abraham Erskine allows Rogers to enlist as a candidate of Project Rebirth, a super soldier experiment being conducted by the Strategic Scientific Reserve under the supervision of Erskine, Chester Phillips, and Peggy Carter. Steve Rogers begins his training for World War II in Camp Lehigh. During basic training, Phillips is unconvinced by Erskine's claims that Rogers is the right person for the procedure, but relents after seeing Rogers commit an act of self-sacrificing bravery. The night before the treatment, Erskine reveals to Rogers that Schmidt underwent an imperfect version of the procedure and suffered negative side effects due to his inner ambition for power and obsession with becoming a superior man. However, he reassures Rogers that he chose him because he believed Rogers was an inherently good man and one that, because he had been weak his whole life, would not lose respect for the strength he would gain. Back in Europe, Schmidt and Arnim Zola, using one of his machines, successfully harnessed the energies of the Tesseract, intending to use the power to fuel Zola's inventions. Meanwhile, Schmidt, having discovered Erskine's location, dispatches an assassin to kill him. Steve Rogers stepping out after Project Rebirth. In New York City, Erskine subjects Rogers to the super soldier treatment, putting him in a special chamber where he is injected with the super soldier serum and dosed with Vita-Rays. Rogers emerges from the chamber taller and with an enhanced physique. After witnessing the success of the experiment, one of the attendees reveals himself to be Schmidt's assassin, Heinz Krueger, who shoots Erskine, killing him. Krueger grabs the last vial of the super soldier serum and escapes the facility into the streets of New York. Rogers runs after Krueger, using his new strength and stamina to run down Krueger's car on foot. Despite attempting to escape in a submarine, Rogers manages to catch Krueger, but the vial of super soldier serum is broken in the process and the assassin immediately commits suicide by cyanide pill before he can be interrogated for information. With Erskine dead and the super soldier formula lost, the SSR is ordered to join the war and engage Hydra directly. However, Phillips decides to leave Rogers behind and allows scientists to study him in an attempt to rediscover Erskine's formula. Senator Brandt approaches Rogers and instead offers him the chance to tour the nation for the USO to promote war donations, using his image as the strong, ideal soldier as a symbol for the public to rally behind, which Rogers accepts. During his work for the USO, Rogers performed in scripted stage shows as the star-spangled character Captain America. As Rogers continues touring across the country, Captain America gains great popularity among the public, leading to increasingly more elaborate shows as well as making appearances in film strips, comic books, and other memorabilia. Although Rogers is happy to be contributing towards the war effort, he grows increasingly weary of being paraded around while not being able to have a more direct role alongside those actively fighting. Meanwhile, Schmidt unveils his new Tesseract-powered weaponry to 3 Nazi officers sent to oversee his operation, but uses the weapon to kill the officers after they realize that Germany is among a list of Schmidt's intended targets. Schmidt uses this moment to declare his secession from the Third Reich, claiming that Hydra could grow no further in Adolf Hitler's shadow and will now follow his agenda. Hydra continued to siphon energy from the Tesseract, using the stored energy to create a variety of weapons and integrated it into a range of vehicles and other technology, quickly giving the faction the potential to become a major threat to the war front and the world at large. In November 1943, While performing for active servicemen as well as encountering his colleagues from the SSR, Rogers learns that Barnes' unit was lost in a battle against Hydra. Despite Phillips' insistence on the futility of the situation, Rogers refuses to believe that Barnes is dead and becomes determined to mount a solo rescue attempt, receiving help from Carter and Howard Stark, who fly in behind enemy lines. Rogers manages to sneak into Hydra's main factory where he finds and frees most of the captive soldiers who begin a riot and start escaping while Rogers continues on to find Barnes, who he discovers in a separate room where he was being operated on. Schmidt, seeing the prisoners escaping and Rogers moving through the facility, sets the factory to self-destruct to cover Hydra's operations and evacuate to another facility. As the building begins to detonate, Schmidt confronts Rogers on a high catwalk where he makes light of his similarities to Rogers following their mutual use of the super soldier serum. Schmidt expresses his belief that they have risen above the visage of normal humans before revealing his face to be a mask, removing it to display the red, skull-like face that earned him the sobriquet, the Red Skull. Schmidt and Zola make their escape while Rogers leads Barnes to the roof where they both barely manage to escape the factory themselves before regrouping with the escaped soldiers and marching back to base. Following the liberation of the Allied prisoners, Rogers gains his superior officer's respect and acknowledgement as a soldier and is given high rank and the chance to fight as Captain America, as a key figure on the war front opposing Hydra directly. Howard Stark outfits Rogers with advanced equipment, including a durable, custom combat uniform and a circular shield made of vibranium. For the next 2 years, Rogers and his Howling Commandos lead a strong offensive, sabotaging various Hydra operations, much to Schmidt's frustration. In 1945, the team later assaults a train carrying Zola. Rogers and Barnes engage in a fight with the soldiers on the train, during which Barnes falls from the train to his apparent death, while Jones locates Zola on the train and captures him. Rogers is deeply affected by the loss of his best friend and is convinced by Carter to use his sorrow as motivation to put an end to Hydra for good. Using information extracted from Zola, the final Hydra stronghold is located and Rogers leads an attack to stop Schmidt from using weapons of mass destruction on the United States. Rogers climbs aboard the Valkyrie, Hydra's massive aircraft bomber, as it takes off. During the subsequent fight, a machine containing the Tesseract is damaged. Schmidt physically handles the Tesseract, which opens a wormhole into space, sucking him into it in bright light. The cube falls to the floor, burning through the plane and falling into the ocean. Seeing no way to land the plane without the risk of detonating its weapons, Rogers instead crashes it on the Arctic shelf while making a sorrowful goodbye to Carter, making a promise to take her dancing, knowing he would never be able to make the date. Stark later recovers the Tesseract from the ocean floor but is unable to locate Rogers' body or Schmidt's aircraft. Rogers awakens in a 1940s-style hospital room. Deducing from an anachronistic radio broadcast that he was out of place, he flees outside into what is revealed to be present-day Times Square, where Nick Fury tells him he has been asleep for nearly 70 years. Stunned by this revelation, Rogers' only response is that he had a date. A year later, Fury approaches Rogers, proposing a mission with worldwide ramifications. It was refreshing to discover, once Captain America, the first Avenger, commenced, that this is indeed a genuine film, not just a chaotic flurry of incomprehensible special effects. While undoubtedly laden with CGI and inherently implausible, it possesses the substance and attention to detail to be considered a fully realized cinematic experience. The presence of a compelling hero with depth and a weighty narrative distinguishes it from the likes of Thor or Green Lantern, serving as an inspiration as we venture into an era teeming with comic book adaptations. The significance of the first Avenger title resonates deeply with Marvel enthusiasts, following previous films dedicated to Iron Man, the Hulk, and Thor. With undoubtedly more to come. The narrative kicks off with the unearthing of a colossal flying wing encased in polar ice, revealing Captain America's iconic shield. It delves into his origin story and exploits during World War II, hinting at future sequels exploring his revival to continue his crusade in the modern era. We are introduced to the archetypal 90-pound weakling, Steve Rogers, a scrawny Brooklyn kid relentlessly bullied and yearning to defend his country against the Nazis. Despite numerous rejections, his unwavering courage catches the attention of Colonel Phillips and scientist Erskine, leading to his transformation into a towering figure of strength and virtue. His partnership with Peggy Carter adds emotional depth to the narrative, albeit maintaining a PG-13 level of intimacy. The story unfolds with the introduction of a formidable villain in the form of Nazi Commandant Johann Schmidt, alias the Red Skull, who poses a threat surpassing even Hitler himself. The film faithfully adheres to Marvel lore, introducing key characters such as Bucky Barnes and Howard Stark, while seamlessly blending first-rate CGI with a slightly more grounded approach to superhero action. Director Joe Johnston's adept handling of the 1940s setting and costumes, coupled with a propulsive narrative, ensures a sense of cohesion and narrative breadth, elevating Captain America, the first Avenger, beyond mere spectacle into the realm of compelling storytelling. In 2024, while some of the Easter eggs from Captain America, the first Avenger, may have evolved or been further explored in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, MCU, many of them still hold importance and relevance. 1. Howard Stark and the Stark Legacy. The Stark family's influence remains significant in the MCU, particularly through Tony Stark's enduring legacy as Iron Man. References to Howard Stark and his technological advancements continue to shape MCU narratives, especially in series like Iron Man, Agent Carter, and Ironheart. 2. The Tesseract. As one of the Infinity Stones, the Tesseract's importance persists in the MCU. While its storyline concluded in Avengers Endgame, its history and significance continue to reverberate through the franchise, including its role in the origins of Captain Marvel and Hydra's experiments. 3. Bucky Barnes' introduction. Bucky Barnes' journey from Steve Rogers' best friend to the Winter Soldier and beyond remains a key aspect of the MCU. His character development and interactions with other heroes, such as Falcon and the White Wolf, continue to shape MCU narratives in films like Captain America, the Winter Soldier, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series. 4. The Howling Commandos. While the Howling Commandos have not been prominently featured in recent MCU projects, their legacy and potential for future appearances remain relevant. Their ties to Captain America and their World War II exploits offer storytelling opportunities that could be explored in future films or series. 5. Red Skull's fate. Red Skull's fate after Captain America, the first Avenger, was explored further in Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame. While his storyline may have concluded, his character's impact on the MCU's cosmic events and potential for future appearances continue to be of interest to fans. 6. Nick Fury's brief appearance. Nick Fury's cameo in Captain America, the first Avenger, laid the groundwork for his expanded role as a key figure in the MCU. His involvement in the formation of the Avengers and subsequent appearances in various films and series underscore his ongoing importance to the MCU's overarching narrative. Overall, while the specific details and developments of these Easter eggs may have evolved since Captain America, the first Avenger, their broader significance within the MCU's rich tapestry of storytelling ensures their continued importance and relevance in 2024.